what do you think about take-home assignments, quote unquote? Some people call it free work because they're like, oh, can you design this feature? Can you solve this problem for me? What are your thoughts about this, Joseph?
So it depends, all right? So at the end of the day, do you wish to want to do it or not? You have the right to choose. Some companies employ take-home assignments, design challenges, whiteboard challenges, in whatever form it is. It kind of answers some of the questions that you might have, right? To just see how you perform and how you react, how you think, how you work with the team members so that they can find and make sure that it's a good fit and it's a learning experience. So for me personally, I've rejected doing some assignments for certain companies because I feel like it's a bit, but for some, I do it, right? And for those that are close to 100 or like 90, 80% of offer, it means that you're either a handful or less than a handful of people that are already deciding on, right? So you are very close towards the finish line. So don't give it a try, but if you feel like any point of time that is unclear, it's easy, feel free to drop out. You have that choice and you can focus time and effort on other opportunities. But at the same time, do encourage and ask questions back to the hiring manager and the team about problems that they face, some of the assumptions you're making, some of the questions they might have, get them to kind of work. Because you want to kind of make sure there's a relationship happening as well. It's not a solo exercise that you're just 1 week or a few days you're just doing by yourself. If that's the case, maybe that's a bit of a red flag.
Yeah, so a lot of people might be thinking, why do I still have to complete a design challenge when I've done a portfolio presentation, for example, right? Like a portfolio is for a different purpose, right? It's to show previous work you've done, hopefully your best work that you're most proud of. However, a design challenge is a way for the hiring company or manager to understand if you can work under pressure, to get more insight to your process with little time, give designers an opportunity to ask great questions, what Joseph just said, and to really get a more accurate sense of designer skill set. So de-risking, as you said. A lot of folks might struggle with it because they're like, okay, well, how do I go and solve it? So these are some questions that you should ask yourself about design challenges before you even dive straight in, right? Don't open Figma. Ask these questions first. Like, how much time do you have? How much do you know about the product or business? Who are the users? What's the context? How much research do I need? Can I just assume based on what I asked the hiring company? How quickly can you do the test? What fidelity are they looking for, right? All of these questions you should consider. And the pro tip here is also you need to pick a format that you can show the solution well, right? I recommend a slide deck because you can actually talk about it and present it and then attach your prototype or whatever instead of just like, oh, here's the Figma file, right? So the way you tell that story is also really, really important, right? You got shortlisted for interviews and maybe you've done some, but no offers. What's your thought behind that?
So let's kind of break down in terms of what a hiring manager is looking out for. So for me as a hiring manager, I look for 3 fits. So the first fit I'm looking out for is the job fit. Whether do you fit the requirements of the job, based on your resume, based on your portfolio especially. So typically in the first interview, based on my evaluation of the portfolio, I've made an assessment that you could. I then want to look out for next is your mindset fit. Whether do you have a growth mindset? Because one of the things is being a manager, it's hard to coach and manage someone who has a fixed mindset. If you give them a feedback and they say, nah, right? Or they take feedback negatively, or they are not open to learning, not open to growing, very hard to manage. So what you want to kind of see is, have you shared your lessons learned in your case study at the end of it, in your resume, especially if you're moving from another career? We're going to talk about it and showcase what you learned about it and how have you translated those skills, or even in the interview process, right? One of the things you want to kind of share, typically out there is the STAR method that is recommended in terms of how you want to answer interview questions, right? Which is the situation, the task, the actions that you have done, as well as the results. That I feel is a bit lacking, that you can't showcase your growth mindset. So what I then use is either a CARL method or a PEARL method. So a CARL method is C stands for context. You want to share the context, which is essentially the situation and task, the problem that you're trying to solve, and task that you're supposed to do. The A, action, R, results, and L, as you guessed it, learning. What have you learned from that experience? Listen to people interview. Either they don't practice it enough and they are very unclear in terms of how they communicate. So I recommend that actually for every of your job role and your CV, every point that you mentioned, structure it in a CAR framework. I do for mine. So when I go into an interview, anyone wants to ask me about something, I have a story I can share. 1, it gives you confidence about answering, and I can sense that. 2, it gives you clarity. because you have a structure and it's easy for me as a hiring manager to listen to your answer and understand the value that you can bring. If you do that along the way, your chances of getting shortlisted and moving down the funnel, and moving down the hiring pipeline will increase significantly. Cool. So the last fit, which is actually the most important, and that's the whole point of the interview, is cultural fit. So in the interview, I'm looking for someone who I know you, I need to like you, and I also need to trust you, right? But I look at cultural fit at 3 levels. So one, it is on a one-on-one level. Me as a hiring manager to you as a candidate, eventually I'm going to be your manager. I need to work well with you. I need to like you. That is key. Second one is the cultural fit within the team. So cultural fit with the team is then when you interview and chat with the design team, and the feedback from my team to me about you as a candidate is very important. So for example, one of my designers in my last role, one of the questions she asked, I'm not sure it's a joke or it's not, but she was looking for a drinking buddy. Yeah. So she asked whether you drink alcohol, what's your favorite alcohol and all that. I think she half serious about it. But that is indicator, right? Depending on how the candidate will handle that question, you see whether they match the same vibe. And the last one is the culture fit at the company level. And this is where you be interviewed by either the CEO or my boss. This is where at their level, what they are interested is how are you aligned with the vision, mission, values of the company? Because one of the core things that we are looking out for is to make sure that you stay at the company as long as possible. In order for that to happen, with the vision, the values, the mission, and everything, I can sense that this person is going to be a good fit. Because other than just being a good fit, I want to also make sure that you are a value add to the organization, to the team. You want to kind of practice all of your interview skills. And that's why I say career skill is so much more important, or at least equally important, that you need to go and build and focus to build.
Let's just quickly recap those 3 fit levels that you spoke about. Just quickly repeat that for us.
Got you. Thank you. So first one is...
Want to listen to the full conversation? Click the video on screen now. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join us live. Oh, wait. Okay, fine, you don't have to join us for the live stream, but if you like stuff like this, then click that subscribe button. I'll see you on the inside. Bye!